We were provided a comfortable four-door sedan by the university motor pool, and it was July or August, and there we were in this car with no air conditioning, the nice hot summer sun bearing down on us, and the highest speed we could get out of our car going downhill was 47 miles per hour.
Working statewide on sales tax referendum really was the major job that I ended up having during my 8-year career at MTAS. I went there in 1960. In 1963, the legislature passed legislation that enabled cities to levy a local sales tax. But the clinker was it had to be approved in a referendum by the electorate of the city before it could be levied. Well, I was young at the time, and saying that this wouldn't happen is kind of like waving a red flag in front of a bull, and I thought, we'll see whether it will happen or not.
Well, when I was elected mayor, the smoke and fog was so thick you couldn't cut it with a knife. I got the first federal grant to do a clean air study for Chattanooga. I also had a few industrialists who were about to run me out of town because they thought we were going to put them out of business. When I was elected mayor, every water fountain said colored or white. No one had trained me on what to do if someone said, I'm not going to the back of the bus. So I had to be the guy in office that would take the signs down from where you ride in the bus, whether you can go to a public park, whether a restaurant is integrated or not. And if you don't think those weren't hot times in the old town tonight, you should have been here to watch it one at a time as to just what happened. So those were the old days.
Herb Bingham, I don't guess it was generally known, but was a great ghostwriter. And he ghost wrote speeches for more governors than probably anybody else in this state's history. And it was in service of TML that he did it also. That was his way to get some of the municipal points in the administration's program. And I can't think of many of them in recent history while Herb was, I can't think of any of them while Herb was there who didn't have the Bingham hand in some of their text.
There's a proverb in the Bible that I like to quote, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Herb Bingham certainly was a brilliant idea man. He could see far ahead, and he had lots of ideas. He was not always very diplomatic, and when it came to promoting city matters, he was a real bulldog in disposition, and he would push and push and push for the benefit for projects that benefited the cities.
Herb would come to us, the mayors and the board, and he would say, now this list here represents our top priorities. And I'd look at the list, and there would be 25 different pieces of legislation. And I said to Herb, Herb, when we go to see the legislators, I said, we go to them so often that they run and hide from us. And I said, we're bound to be able to pare down the number of top priorities to maybe, instead of 25, to 5. And he said, no, this is a 25, and he held his ground.
He was a tenacious man. And he did have all the city's interest at heart, their best interest at heart, and he would pursue that with no fear, no favor.
The best thing about MTAS is its people. The philosophy of the MTAS leadership and its consultants. The philosophy is, how can we best serve the city officials, city governments throughout the state of Tennessee? And it's been that way from day one. And it starts at the top and it goes all the way down through the organization. So the best thing about MTAS is the quality, the commitment, the enthusiasm of its people.
It has the support of a large, fine university behind it with its research capabilities and the assets that it has that MTAS can draw off of.
The best thing that it is directly involved in an enterprise that is beneficial to so many people. You certainly can feel like you are participating in an activity that is an absolute necessity.
The best thing about MTAS is that it's free. And I say that jokingly, but really that is a wonderful thing about MTAS, is that you get good, knowledgeable people that come and give you advice and provide you assistance.
The best thing about MTAS, I think, is the accessibility to the cities and the reaction time. It's tremendous, and the expertise that they have. I can't speak highly enough of MTAS. I don't really know where they have a weak point, to tell you the truth.
I doubt very seriously if there's not an MTAS service that the city of Pulaski hasn't used over the last 12 years. Whether it be water and sewer, in the finance department particularly, and in utilities also. We've had fire study done, we work in public safety and police, strategic planning processes. We've used MTAS for city council work plans, developing work plans for each year, budgeting. Then we use the library and the library that's on the internet. And so there's, we've definitely, probably, maybe even overutilized MTAS.
They actually assisted the city, 18 years ago in a major revamp of the budget. And to this day, we're using the aspects of budget presentation that they brought to the table then.
Probably the single most thing that they do for us outside of just the consulting is the codification, and I think that's very important to any city is for MTAS to provide that service.
That's where we come into play often with Tennessee cities. What we do is we find out how other cities have done it, what they've done, what were their failures, what were their successes, so that these cities don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I've seen that direct requests from cities really go up steadily over the last several years.
I've had the opportunity in less than 2 years to have them do major studies in the fire department, the police department, and they are right now doing a major solid waste study, not only for the city but the entire region.
I've always been impressed with the fact that the consultants come from local government background. They've been there. They've been there and done it. They've been in the trenches. They've been in city halls.
In this profession, if you don't have credibility, you don't have anything. And that's the single biggest thing, I guess, when you look at MTAS, is the professionalism of their consultants.
They respond to us very quickly when we have a question and want information. They gather data for us that would just take us many hours to gather if we had to do it on our own. Plus, they are just knowledgeable of what's happening all the way across the state. And they're able to bring that information and expertise to us.
What also makes a good MTAS consultant is someone who is able to listen to you. A lot of times that's what an MTAS consultant has done for not just me, but I know many of us, is kind of to provide you that shoulder to cry on and to help you work your way through these problems and to perhaps even kind of give you some calm in the midst of a storm.
With our fire department, our police department, our street department, our sanitation department, any need that we see fit, whether it's just simple administration with employees. They're there always to help, and all you have to do is pick up a phone and call, and it's very convenient. And that's why it makes a difference in every city in every community in the state of Tennessee.
Chaos, a lot of chaos. I don't think they would have known what to do, and they would have stumbled here and stumbled there. Hopefully, finally, they would have gotten in touch with the right person in the right place, but they didn't have the University of Tennessee and MTAS to look to. What would they do?
If the smaller cities didn't have access to MTAS, it would be extremely costly for them to have to go out and hire the expertise on the open market. And I'm talking about lawyers and engineers and consultants.
Cities the size of Pulaski, would be hard pressed to find and even pay for the expertise that MTAS provides.
There wouldn't be an MTAS phone number to call. You got a problem, you call MTAS.
I would tell a new elected official and city official about MTAS is to get in contact with them the day after the election before you ever sworn in, and to find out what they have to offer and to take advantage of it, because they can save you a lot of heartaches.
One day we're a private citizen, and the next day we're an elected official, and we're supposed to know everything there is to know about personnel and purchasing and budgeting and finance and the running and operation of city services, whether it be garbage collection or water and sewer. And that's impossible. Well, there's this organization in Tennessee that's called MTAS that brings a wealth of expertise and knowledge in all these fields to a city.
What would I tell them? I'd tell a new city official to use MTAS. They had questions. It's like a municipal library. You can call over there and you can get somebody who can help you find the answer to the question.
I highly recommend that public officials who have been elected to positions in cities get in touch with MTAS, because you need to first know the services they provide, and then you'll learn that you can depend upon that to assist you as you serve your term in office.
I think they've been successful because they've established relationships based on trust and based on a great understanding of the charge that they have. And with that, they're able to go to local governments, and local governments take them in with full confidence. They rely upon them, and they establish a relationship that would take a great deal of time, I think, if it were to come from another organization or from the outside private sector.
And I think that's exactly what Mr. Bingham had in mind when he created MTAS. He saw that opportunity to not only educate the local government officials, but give them a forum so that they can get to their state legislators and have laws that are favorable to local governments.
Clean water, clean air, police department, fire department, and you have questions. Perhaps if you're a larger city, you have more professionals at your fingertips, but if you're a very small city, where are you going to get your information? And to have this tremendous service at the University of Tennessee through MTAS is just wonderful. If you are a new public official and you don't know you need them, you better find out pretty soon.
I look at this job as a learning experience, and certainly it is. And you can learn from your mistakes, and you can learn from your successes. And MTAS is a repository of all municipal experiences, and they're there to share other cities' successes and some of their mistakes they've made with every city official in the state of Tennessee. Now, if you really think about that, that's an amazing asset for cities.
Happy 50th anniversary, MTAS. Good job.